Hello vinyl community, this is Randall. In the month of May 2020 I completed my Deep Purple collection. Well, I completed it up through 1984, the Perfect Strangers album anyway. Today I'm going to show you my Deep Purple collection, all these records that I have, and I figure while I'm showing them to you I'll just go ahead and rank them. I'm going to rank albums 10 through 1, so I am only going to be ranking the records up through 1975, up through Come Taste the Band. I'm not going to include Perfect Strangers because the band had like a 7 or 8 year hiatus there between making records, and Ritchie Blackmore had left and he came back, and same with Ian Gillan. So I'm just going to rank the 10 studio albums from the first one, Shades of Deep Purple, up through Perfect Strangers. But I'm also going to show you a couple of live albums that I have. So we can begin at the beginning here. Shades of Deep Purple is their first album from July of 1968. Deep Purple was a British band. I guess they formed in 1968. Consisted of 5 members at that time. They were Nick Simper on bass, Rod Evans on vocals, John Lord on organ, Ian Pace on drums, and Ritchie Blackmore on guitar. These 3 became the core members that moved on to Mark II, the most famous version of the band. These 2 were here for the first 3 records. So Shades of Deep Purple I have ranked at number 7. All these records, all 10 of the records, every record I'm going to show you, I like them all. They're all strong records. I wouldn't complain about any of them. There's very few songs I actually dislike. So mostly when I'm ranking them here, what I'm trying to do is choose the ones that have the largest percentage of songs or the largest percentage of music on the album that I really like a lot. And then if an album has one song that's really a special song, that might move it a little bit higher towards the top of the ranks. So this album doesn't have any one song that really is a totally memorable song. It starts out with And the Address, which is a cool way for it to start because it does sound like Deep Purple, and it sort of initiates that John Lord, Ritchie Blackmore interplay that I think the band became famous for. So they do a great version of Hush by Joe South on here, which became a hit in the United States. They do a cover of I'm So Glad, the song that Cream did, which is actually written by Skip James. Mandrake Root, the first song on side 2, is a good beginning. They do a cover of Help, the Beatles song Help, which is an interesting cover of that. They do a couple of Beatles covers in their career. So, and also a cover of Hey Joe. So there's a lot of covers on here, and yeah, so this is a good beginning album. So 7 out of 10 is not bad. Good way to start, and this is on Tetragrammaton Records. I think what I have is an early issue. I'm not sure if it's the first issue. I think it's from 1968. Their second album is the Book of Talism. This one came out in October of 68, so just a few months later. This has an outstanding cover. You can really look at this cover for a while. There's several places here where it says Deep Purple, and then it has the band members listed, like there, here, Deep Purple, and then the band members down here, Deep Purple, and then the band members down here. So here's the band on the back of it. Very good picture of the Mark I band here on the inner gatefold. I have this record ranked as number 6 in these 10 records that I'm ranking here. This is an outstanding album. I really like this one a lot. Listen, Learn, and Read On starts with that. Then Ring That Neck. Kentucky Woman is on here. This record, when I showed this, I got this about a year ago. This is one that I got at Phonolux. I ran into Melinda Murphy there at Phonolux the day that I got this, which is interesting because the song Kentucky Woman is on here, and Melinda Murphy is from Kentucky, of course, so it's great meeting Melinda. So I've got that one at number 6. That's a Harvest record. That's a German issue. I think this is a German issue from 1968 that I have. Here's the self-titled Deep Purple, which I have ranked at number 8. Once again, sort of the same thing. There's just not one particular song on here that stands out. The whole thing is fairly strong. It's pretty good. Chasing Shadows I like a lot. The first song on here, Blind Lalania, a cover of a Donovan song, is good. The Painter is excellent. Main problem with this album is the last song on the album, April, is like a 12-minute long song. It has a lot of orchestration and stuff in it, so for me that's kind of weak. This has an excellent album cover. This is a Hieronymus Bosch painting. Really weird images on here. You could look at this album cover for a long time. This is also on Tetragrammaton. Once again, I think it's an early American issue of this record, but I don't know if it's necessarily the first time it was issued. The next album that they put out was Deep Purple with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra, conducted by Malcolm Arnold, doing a live concerto for group and orchestra, which was composed by John Lord, the keyboard player. So this was something he really wanted to do. I'm not sure about the rest of the band, how much they wanted to do that, but it was actually very successful and sold a ton of copies. And it's really pretty good. I mean, I've listened to it some, and the orchestra plays, and they sort of transition into the band playing, but they don't really both play at the same time. The gatefold looks like on this. So yeah, this is a good album. I'm not ranking this one because it's just so different from all the others. There's also a change here. Rod Evans and Nick Semper were gone. They were replaced by new singer Ian Gillan and bass player Roger Glover, which is the classic lineup of the band, Mark II. So, big change in the band here, which was not so noticeable because a lot of this is just the orchestration and stuff. This record is on Harvest. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure about where this one came from. Their next record, and the first of the Mark II lineup, with just the real band playing, is In Rock. In Rock I have ranked at number 4. Really difficult to rank these albums. I mean, really, especially the 4. Well, 3 of the 4 Mark II albums are all just so great that it's difficult to rank them. So, but I do have this one at number 4. Fantastic album cover here. The only thing I don't know is the back cover is exactly the same as the front cover. It seems like they could have changed it up a little bit, but I guess that's what they decided to do. I really like the gatefold, though. It has the words there and then excellent pictures of the band. Here's where they go to, the entire band gets credited for every song on the album. I like that. It's like they went to the studio and they jammed, and everybody got credit for writing the songs. And that carried on, I think, for all of the Mark II lineup. So, the reason this is only number 4 for me is that, for me, there is not one single song on here that is just totally awesome. There are a lot of great songs on here. Speed King, Bloodsucker. You know, Child in Time, I mean, maybe I should count that as one that's really awesome. It's a great song. It's kind of slow. Sort of different for Deep Purple. One of their best songs. I really like that a lot. Flight of the Rat on here. Living Rag, Hard Loving Man. It's a fantastic album. This is a Friday Music reissue. About like 2009, I believe. Classic Warner Brothers Gold label. Their next album is Fireball from July 9, 1971. I have this ranked as number 3. So I do have it ahead of In Rock. Here's what the whole album, a great album cover. The gatefold is really good. The only thing about this gatefold is right here in this corner. I mean, those are the words, but I mean, they are small. That is difficult to read. I don't know if, surely this wasn't originally done this way. I'm not sure what's up with that. I do like the gatefold, and in fact, it's hard to read the words. This album I rank ahead of In Rock. Just, well, I like the whole thing better overall. It starts out with a fantastic Fireball, and then No, No, No. So that is just such a great 1-2 punch, such a great way to start an album. But then, Strange Kind of Woman is another song. Side 2, maybe my favorite Side 2 song, single side of all the Deep Purple albums. The Mule, which has some vocals at the beginning, but it's largely instrumental. And in their concerts, it's the vehicle for Ian Pace to do his drum solo. After that, Fools is fantastic, just one of the best sounding songs. And then No One Came. So this is a really strong album. I like this one a lot. The only thing holding this one back is the last song on side 1, Anyone's Daughter. It's almost like a folk song or something, and it's not necessarily bad, but I just don't even know what it's doing on a Deep Purple album. It doesn't sound like them, and really sort of destroys the whole flow. This is also a Friday Music reissue, I think from 2010 for this one. Their next album, Machine Head. This is my number 1. This came out in 1972, March of 1972. For me, this is really the peak for Deep Purple. Every song on here is a fantastic song. Starts with Highway Star, then Maybe I'm a Leo, Pictures of Home, Never Before, Smoke on the Water, and then Lazy, which could possibly maybe be my number 1 favorite Deep Purple song, and then Space Truckin', which is such an awesome song and a great live vehicle for them to jam. So this is what I have as my number 1 Deep Purple album. This came with a really cool lyric sheet here, which folds out. Nice to read along with the words. This one is this is a Rhino reissue from 2006. So they went with the green Warner Brothers label. After that, I guess evidently it sounds like, from what I've read anyway, it sounds like Ritchie Blackmore and Ian Gillan didn't necessarily get along all that well, and this is going to be their final album as the Mark II incarnation of the band. This also has a really cool cover. Their faces are here in these bubbles that you see floating around. Who do we think we are? I guess Deep Purple at this point was one of the biggest rock bands in the world. It's just like press clippings talking about the band. This album's just kind of weak overall, though. It has one of my favorite songs, Woman from Tokyo. Awesome song. Yeah, I mean, the songs aren't bad. Very Long, Super Trooper, they're okay. But they're just not outstanding songs. They're just kind of metal type songs. I have this one ranked at number 9. So 9 out of 10 for this one. I was where I read that stuff about. I have this magazine here that I got a couple years ago. I'm not sure when this came out. I got it a couple years ago, though, called The Ultimate Music Guide. So this has a review of every album that they've done and some details about it. The history of the band. So this has really been a useful guide. I also just wanted to show you this one really excellent picture. I love that picture. I think that's an awesome photo of the band there. Okay, so back to the record sheet. Here was the lyric sheet that came with Who Do We Think We Are. That one. I think what I have here is an original British issue of this from 1973, I believe, was when this came out on Purple Records. After this record, they released a double live album, Deep Purple, made in Japan. Maybe the greatest rock and roll live album ever recorded. This album has 7 songs on it. Yeah, 7 songs on this album, spread across 2 sides. So they're long, jammy type songs, but this is what really put them over the top. I think it made them the biggest band in the world. So Highway Star is on here, Child in Time, Smoke on the Water, The Mule, Strange Kind of Woman, Lazy, and Space Truckin'. This live version of Lazy is just absolutely unbelievable. It has this great gatefold. I'm not ranking the live albums because live albums are kind of different. I did want to show you this. Is a book that I have here that came in this box set that I have. That live album is a 2-record set. They played 3 nights in Osaka, Japan, and they played the same 7 songs in the same order every night. But on this box set, I get all 3 nights of it. So the live album compiled, I guess, what they thought were the best versions from the 3 nights. But here I get all 7 songs 3 times from across 3 nights. Plus the encores are on here, so that was a nice thing. The encores were not included on the live album, so this is a great box set. So highly recommend that one too if you come across it. This made in Japan. I think this is the original. This is on Warner Brothers Records. Got this one used. Yeah, so they were having some issues. So I guess Roger Glover and Ian Gillan were released, and the band picked up a new singer and bass player. Glenn Hughes is the new bass player, and David Coverdale is the new singer. So, although David Coverdale is well known now, sang for Deep Purple, and then went on to be in Whitesnake. At the time he took over, he was really unknown. He'd been working as a clothing salesman. I learned this from that magazine over there. So, I mean, it was just a huge step for him to go from being a clothing salesman to being the lead singer for one of the biggest bands in the world. This album is fantastic. I love this album, and I actually have this ranked number 2 out of my top 10 here. So this starts with Burn, and then Might Just Take Your Life. A couple of fantastic songs. Lay Down, Stay Down, Sail Away is excellent. You Fool No One, just excellent. What's Going On Here, and Mistreated. Mistreated is like a blues song sung by David Coverdale. Really awesome. And then it's sort of an experimental song, A200, which I think sounds pretty cool. So this is my number 2. This is an awesome album cover too. If you see on the cover here, they're candles. They're all lit. Each one of their faces there on a candle, and they're lit. On the back of it, the candles are partially melted. The flames have been extinguished. And the band members' essence is rising up in the smoke. So you can see their faces there. So, yeah. Awesome. Awesome album cover. Number 2 for me. This is a Friday Music reissue from about 2010. I think 2009 or 2010. The next album they released with the exact same lineup, Stormbringer. This is my number 10 album. So how did they go from number 2 to number 10? Well, they seem to have lost their inspiration. Stormbringer, the song is excellent, and it sort of previews the rainbow thing. It has the words here about ride the rainbow, crack the sky, even though I think the words are written by David Coverdale. Love Don't Mean a Thing is a really cool song. It's kind of like the song Money, that the Rolling Stones did. I Want Money. Money is the most important thing. Not the Pink Floyd song, but Money. There are also a couple of songs on here. Well, Holy Man is sung by Glenn Hughes. He has that piercing voice. The real problems with this album, though, I think, are Hold On, and You Can't Do It Right with the One You Love. I mean, they're both good songs. They sound like something that could be on the radio, but they do not sound anything like Deep Purple. They sound like just middle of the road, album-oriented rock, background vocals and stuff. So, yeah, some problems with that. It closes strongly, though, with The Gypsy and, like I said, Soldier of Fortune. So, I'm not calling this a bad album. I'm saying, if you have to rank 1 through 10, something's got to be number 10. So that one's my number 10. This is on Purple vinyl. This is a Purple Records reissue from, I think this was from 2018. Actually, yes, this was a pretty new reissue here. So the last album they released that I am ranking is Come Taste the Band, and I have this one at number 5, which is a pretty high ranking for this one, especially since it sounds so different. It hardly sounds like a Deep Purple album. But it does have Tommy Bolin took over as the lead singer, as the lead guitarist here. He also does some singing on here, so they have 3 singers at this point. Glenn Hughes, David Coverdale, and Tommy Bolin. Tommy does some of the writing on here. So I like this album a lot because it sounds a lot like Tommy Bolin. The guitar work. So that's the biggest change. I mean, you definitely can tell the difference in the guitar work between Ritchie Blackmore and Tommy Bolin. So those are both two of my favorite guitarists. So, but that's what I mean by it's a real change of pace. Though this just does not sound like the earlier Deep Purple records. So let's come to the gatefold sleeve here. They only did one record with this lineup. Unfortunately, Tommy Bolin, I guess, had some issues and ended up dying, so they sort of, I guess, broke up the band. They broke up the band, I think, before he actually died. This came with a cool inner sleeve with the words on it. The next album they released is another live album, made in Europe, October 1976. This is a 2018 Purple Records reissue. So this is the Mark III lineup with Blackmore still playing guitar, Coverdale and Glenn Hughes playing bass. And so on this live album, which is recorded at 3 different nights during a European tour, they on this album anyway, I think they played live some of the Gillan era songs, but these are all David Coverdale songs. So Burn, Mistreated, Lady Double Dealer, You Fool No One, and Stormbringer. Just a 1 record live album. Fantastic live album. Maybe not as good as Made in Japan, but not far from it. Made in Europe. This also is another Purple Records reissue. Then in 1977, they released Last Concert in Japan. This is a 1978 Netherlands issue of this. I don't think this was released in the United States. So this is the Mark IV band. So with Tommy Bolin playing lead guitar, Glenn Hughes bass, David Coverdale singing. The interesting thing about this one is it does have some of the Ian Gillan era songs on it with Coverdale singing them. So Highway Star, Woman from Tokyo, and Smoke in the Water are on here. He sort of messes up some of the words, plays around with the words. I'm not sure how much respect he has for those songs, but he also gets to do some of his own songs. So they do Burn and Love Child. There's a Tommy Bolin song on here, Wild Dogs, which Tommy sings. Really beautiful. So this is a cool record. This record was, I got this used at Grimey's. I was browsing the records there, and Grimey asked me, have you ever heard this record? And no, I haven't heard it. He said, it's really, I can't remember exactly what I said, funny or cool or something, but he just talked about how David Coverdale just screams between songs. And you could hear that. It's really cool when the songs get over, and, during that part between the songs when normally the singer would be saying, how y'all doing? It's time to rock and roll. Stuff like that. I guess he figures that the Japanese people can't understand what he's saying anyway. So he just screams. He just screams between songs. It's really cool. Yeah, so this is a good album. Deep Purple. Last Concert in Japan. This is on Purple Records. Like I say, this was a Netherlands issue. And then the last record that I have from Deep Purple, they broke up for a while after Tommy Bolin left. He died. And in 1984, I guess Ritchie Blackmore was tired of Rainbow or something, and Ian Gillan, I don't know. But they both came back, so the band got back together and made this Perfect Strangers album. I haven't listened to this record a whole lot. Just did it a couple times. I mean, it sounds good and everything, but it just sounds like it's from a different era. It just hasn't appealed to me as much yet, so I do need to listen to this one some more. So that's it. That is this one did come with this cool inner sleeve. Like I mentioned earlier that Mega Jeff McRockmack sent this to me, so thanks very much for that, Mega Jeff. Yeah, the words and some pictures here on this. So, yeah, so that's it. So that's my Deep Purple collection. Very glad to have gotten all those. So, How would you rank it? It's tough ranking these records because they're all really good. I mean, there's not a weak one in there, especially when you get to the first few. I mean, they're all so strong. But anyway, that's how I've ranked them, and you know, I've had most of them for quite a while, so I feel pretty good about that ranking. I feel like it'll stay steady for a while. So yeah, let me know what you think about that ranking, how you would rank them, what you think about Deep Purple. So that's it. I hope everyone's doing well, and thanks very much for watching.